Hi, staff. Today we're going to learn about the Winway Resume Deluxe program and the importance of how to utilize its features in helping clients that we're working with every day at the Career Center. So at this stage in the training, you have already continued through the 4 assessments: the personality assessment, the interest assessment, the values assessment, and the skills assessment. You've received training on the ONET and the Occupation Handbook, and now it's ready. Now we're ready to move on to the Winway Resume Deluxe program. A little history on this. Personally, I have used this program for over 10 years. This program was introduced to me as a job coach, and it worked amazingly to help clients build resumes and to access resources. But over the years, they've added so many different features, and it's such a great product. The state of Washington unemployment offices actually utilize this program in helping clients through the entire state. So that gives you an idea of how important that the program has been in helping others achieve resume goals, cover letter goals, mock interview goals. It's a great teaching tool as well. So we'll get into it now. I will share my screen. Okay, so the first thing that you'll see, let's bring up the main page. Down here you'll see the icon, the Winway Resume Deluxe program icon. It's a pencil with a starlight around it, red starlight. When you download it, that will be your icon, and you'll click on that. When you click on that, it'll bring you onto the main screen. So what we'll do, we have one in here already built, but what we'll do is we'll exit out completely. Okay. It'll just give me a minute. It's connecting the parallels because I'm on a Mac. This allows me to go to the Windows program and have a Windows background screen, because unfortunately I cannot access the Winway Resume Deluxe program on my Mac. So with Parallels, I'm allowed to link on and I can use it. So here's the icon, the Winway Resume Deluxe icon. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on that. And I'm going to say no because I want to start from scratch. I want you to see what you see when you first come on. So here you have a welcome screen. I recommend that you close the first screen. A second screen will appear, and you'll go ahead and close that screen off as well, because basically what you want to work with at first is just the blank canvas in front of you. Now, if you look to the left, you'll see headings, themes, and tasks. I want you to go ahead and click on themes. And this is a really cool feature of this program in that it allows you to create different themes. You just click on it once and it transfers it over, and you can decide whether or not you want to keep. In this case, we'll cancel it. Some resumes, of course, I would not recommend using colored resumes, but in this case, you can design different kinds of resumes. There are some waterprint resumes with light waterprints in the back that aren't that bad. Try this one. But again, I would recommend to stay away from those mostly. But there are some job situations where being creative or having really creative resumes do actually help the potential for the employer to have the job. So, but typically I stick to just basic resumes. I like some resumes with outline borders. I think that it makes some of your information stand out. So we're going to keep this one. Once you find the resume format that looks good for you and your client, then you'll have it in front of you, and this is the template that you'll work off of. And what's really important as a career counselor is you want to make sure that you're not doing the resume for the client. So many times you'll sit here and you'll be typing it. Why not let the client sit here? Once you're familiar with the program, let them sit in front of the computer. If they have a copy of an old resume, you've got something to work with. So you can tweak some of the information. But 9 times out of 10, it's good just to build a new resume. I also recommend, as a career counselor, that you encourage multiple resumes. If this person has different job experiences, it would be really smart to target a resume that was towards, let's say, their business administration degree. But let's say they're also an artist, and they have job experience in that. You might want a separate resume that targets their art experience. It's good to have multiple resumes because, especially in our fluctuating economy, it's extremely important to make sure that you have all the resources at your fingertips in case a job pops up immediately that you have to apply for. So we'll start here with a regular resume. Each section of the resume template has, as you can see in the brackets, it has an accessible area. So you can click on it and double click, and it'll bring up this template or this additional area. And you can put your name, for example, your name, and then you want to put your address, which I'll put the school's address. City Thomasville. And in this case, you want to finish the rest out. You want to put the zip code in here. Now you want to put your phone number in here. And this last section here, I usually put my contact information as far as email. Okay, and then you put it in here. And that works so much better to have all those. Now again, every different template that you choose will be different. Like for example, let's find one that's a little different, that spreads it across the top instead, like this one, for example. Let's say we had this as a background. You see, it'll spread it out differently. So you want to practice what it looks like on one template compared to another one. So here we have the information's plotted out here. Now each section, like I said, has its own area that you click on. So you want to double click objective. Now just for the record, not everyone is going with objectives anymore. So objectives are subjective. They're based on your area. They're based on what's needed in an area. But let's say that you have no idea what your objective is, or you have one and you're not sure it's the right one. We have an amazing asset in that this program has a built-in auto-writer database for multiple things. So you want to go ahead and click on auto-writer. And then up here, let's say the job that we're looking at is teacher. It'll then pull up teaching jobs. What kind of teaching job? Post-secondary, nursing, elementary school. Well, let's say in this case, it's elementary school teacher. Instantly, you want to hit find again just to make sure, cancel. Instantly, you have job descriptions that match the objectives. So what you do is you insert the ones that look like the ones that you're interested in. You go down the list. Like in this case, a position with an elementary school teacher in a major corporation. You want to add that in. A challenging career as an elementary school teacher. And you pick the ones that suit you and the client that's sitting beside you or that's doing this themselves at the computer screen with you as a team. Click that in. And then you want to close it out. So now you have several to choose from. You might want to combine some of the ideas, but in the end, you want one objective. So, and of course, you'll fill in the blank here. And when you're done, you press OK, and the objective shows up in here. Again, with the experience section, this is your past experience. These are either your current or your past experiences working with different companies. So in the employer, we'll do Staten Elementary. And then the state, Georgia, blah, blah, blah. I won't put the whole thing in, but you were a teacher. And then your start date, 06 of 12 to 12, 14 to 06, 12 of 15. And you want to put it up to the current very date of the resume. I would steer away from 6/2012/14 to present, unless you're not going to be able to have access to your resume for a while. Otherwise, I would put to present. But it won't actually let you put it in there, so I would just put the dates. But on a regular resume that's outside of our program, that's something that you might want to consider. But anyway, you want to press OK to make sure it looks okay. All right, status school teacher and the dates. Now, something that you want to put in here, you want to put Thomasville, Georgia. Just want to capitalize that. And you can also highlight things. So let's say you want the school to be highlighted. You hit the bold, the underline. The same thing with the teacher. You can just bold that, and you can play around with that feature, and as you can see, it changes the look of it. Now, the next step is the description of the job. Again, the AutoWriter has an amazing library of resources that can help you. It automatically knows you're doing an elementary school teacher resume because you've already told it. So it automatically, for this section, will pull up the different job categories and different experiences that you might have as a teacher, like planned supervised classrooms, wrote and directed and produced. You go down the screen and you pick the ones that you want to look at or that you might want to tweak. You insert them. I always recommend going down the entire list, inserting them all, because there might be something that you forgot. Prepared and presented, read books to the entire class in small groups, organized and implemented. And then when you're done, you close it, and then you have a working model of information that you can tweak along with your current resume to add. Now, sometimes there's better wording in the AutoWriter, and it looks more professional. Or sometimes you may have more well-written documentation on your resume that you can tweak with this. But basically what you end up with is an excellent job description at the end. Then you're done. Now, let's say your second job. Well, how do you do your second job? Let's go back out, because you already have one, and the next step is education. Well, you're not done yet, because under experience, you'll go back in, and then you'll click new, which is the next job experience. So let's say you weren't a teacher before this, you were a social worker. And you worked in Atlanta, Georgia, and your title was Social Worker Incorporated. That's the name of the company. And of course your start and end dates, which would match very closely to your current dates. So make sure you don't overlap on dates. And if there's a gap in your resume on work time, let's say you were laid off or you were sick, elaborate on that during the interview process. I wouldn't elaborate that on any level in your cover letter or anything. That's something that can be asked. They may not even ask, but I wouldn't elaborate in your resume over that. So again, double check, see if it looks the way that you want. Okay, and we've already established that in this particular resume, we're going to underline here, bold here, see what it looks like. Okay, and this one didn't look like it bolded, so we'll go back in and we'll bold that one. And so you want consistency throughout your resume. All right, let's go back in, and again, the job description. This time the AutoWriter knows that you're looking at social work, but what happens is that you switched. So you want to switch experience. Close that out. You want to auto-write. You click the find. You're going to type in social work. And then it'll search the database for social work. What kind of social work did you do? Huh. For some reason that glitched. I don't know why it did that, but now it's working. So let's go back out. There was a little glitch there. So let's completely leave this. Okay, so you've already done your elementary school teacher. Your description's already been on here. Your AutoWriter, now it's on mental, so okay. Once you're done, that description, you go on and let's say your job title is completely different. I guess the trick that I can recommend to you so you don't have the problem that I just had would be under description, you want to click the auto writer, and you want to press the find button, retype in the name of the job title, which in this case is social work. Press OK. The database should then update. So it worked this time. So I don't know why I didn't do that last time. So then you find what kind of worker you were, where you were a social and human service worker. So you click on that. And again, more job descriptions. So insert, you go down the list of the things that match. Like in this, I wrote, designed, and produced case plans, for example, assisted in locating housing for displaced individuals, assisted planning food budget, blah, 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 and so on and so forth, and find everything that you might have done. Now, again, you don't have to list them all. Close. Or, like, again, you may also have an excellent job description that you've already pre-prepared, and that's easier to type in this area as well. But this will help guide someone who has no experience with resume writing, and you'll be able to appear to be a professional to assist your client, and you'll learn as the client's learning, and then you'll become a pro at it after a while. So go ahead and press OK. And in this case, boom, our second description is up and running. Now, hopefully you won't run into that glitch that we just had, but let's say you messed up and your dates are wrong and your social work job was actually before your elementary school and you need to reorder that. How do you do that? Well, you click on one of the jobs and you click the order button. And that allows you to either go up or down and to switch the order. So you're moving that one up and then boom. See, it's completely in order. The same thing with your education. You follow through with the same way that you did with the other two areas, school. So we'll put Thomas University, blah, blah, blah. And then under description, in this case, you would put like if any honors that you had, any officer standing that you had, or any groups or organizations you want to put in here as well. And again, if you have more than one, which you have more, let's say you have a master's degree or an undergrad or an associate's, or even if it's just high school or your associates, again, you can click the order button and move them up and down as needed. So I won't go into detail on that because I think I pretty well explained that in the experience section. References, I typically recommend to leave available upon request, but if the client insists on having resumes, remember it will extend it beyond the one page. Sometimes your resume does extend upon the one page. I would not extend upon the 2 pages unless you are doing a Vita, and that will be a different video or a CV. And that'll be a different video that we'll do some training on, but that usually doesn't happen until the spring semester when we work with the education department. So look for those resources in the Blackboard shell under content if you need assistance with that. Now let's move on. So you have the resume, now you need a cover letter. Again, there's a generic sample cover letter always available here on the website. You can also go into the example section and you can click under either career situation or profession. You can scroll down the drop-down menu and find something that matches you, services, and let's say you want to be a bee worker. It'll have a resume specifically designed for a bee worker. So, and again, you can utilize that, or you can just utilize the original example and just tweak it from there. Now, some advice that I can give you as a career counselor in this area. When you're working with a client and you know that they're applying for a specific job or specific sets of jobs, you want to make sure that the wording in their resume specifically details the exact wording or similar wording to the job description. Most people just apply for jobs and they don't think about looking at the company, researching the company, looking at the job descriptions. It's so important because you want to be able to show that you have those transferable skills that can enhance the company's goals. They want to know that you've got skills that match what they're looking for. So in the cover letter, what you want to do is you want to do a summary of the job description and how your level of experience in your resume matches what they're looking for and how you would be a good fit. So it's like opening a present. Think of it as like opening a present. The ribbon on the outside is your cover letter. The wrapping on the outside is your intro, and then inside the present is your solid resume that shows those skills. So you want that progression to go very smoothly so that they can see your cover letter, it responds to their needs, and you see that in the intro and then the resume. So And by intro, I mean like the beginning of, your objective. So keep that in mind when you're working with clients, to always print off a copy of the job they're looking for and go online, pull it off. Because a lot of the times people don't think about doing that. And that's what really connects with companies. If you know the company's motto, if you know what they do, their focus, they're more impressed because they know that you've already taken the time and committed yourself to go on the website to look up that information. That shows that you've got initiative. And that's very impressive to the employer. So keep that in mind when you're working with clients. Now, secondly, we're going to go on to the contact section. If you purchase your own version of this, and we do on our website, on the TU Career Center website, have a button now that you can press, and you can get a copy of Winway at a very discounted price for $19.95, I believe, for TU students only. And that's a really great deal. And what I recommend you getting it, period, anyway, because it's such a great program. But this will allow you to keep all these different company information, first, second, name, phone number, and the company, so that way you have all this information as you go on through your own career. Not only that, but to help clients in case they call you back later and they're like, what was the name of that company that we looked at or that we looked up? Again, a good place to keep your resources. Resources are the key to being an excellent career counselor, because you want to have those community connections and you want to have resources. That's what makes you successful. So keep that in mind. We can also develop envelopes with this program so that it looks very professional when we send the information off. Now, the best part is that you can get it to copy the information that's on your resume, so you don't really have to do the work over again. But again, it works under the same format, where under the brackets, you double click on the brackets and boom, here we go. And it adds it in. Same thing here. And it adds it in. So let's go on to the interview process. There's two sections here at the top. It's interview and salary. Really good sections, but you got to be quick on them at first. So I'm going to do a couple things at first to stop them from talking, because what happens is when you first go into the program, usually the mock interview section under interview and salary goes instantly. So we're trying to avoid that. So let's go into interview first.
How are you?
See this button here, autoplay?
I'm feeling fine today.
You want to click that.
Thank you for asking. How about you?
So it'll run through that first section. So make sure you click on autoplay. That way you can stop it. Now, she's asked a question in the interview to give you a mock interview example. This database is amazing. Now, some of the questions are a little outdated, but especially the ethics section and the unlawful questions section, I always get my interns to look at, because not everyone understands what an unlawful or unethical question is. And there's a lot of tricky questions about salary, which is in our next example. But make sure when you go in and you're working with the client that you press autoplay off, because what I recommend is that you have the question in front of you, and then it gives you a hint on how to respond. And so you hit the hint button.
Be wary of the seemingly simple question. Even if you have a pounding headache or are terribly nervous, sound upbeat and confident.
And then this way you get to hear her response.
I'm feeling fine today. Thank you for asking. How about you?
And then you can move on to the next one.
Did you have any trouble finding us today?
And again, the hint.
Even if you have got lost 5 times, do not complain. You should always ask for specific directions before the interview.
So it gives you really good examples of what questions to ask. And again, we have an entire list. It's available on our website as well. But if you go down like unlawful questions, for example, you can click on that.
Do you own your own car?
Unlawful. The interviewer can ask you if you would have any problems getting to work on time, but not if you own a car.
And you can see his response.
If you're wondering if I would have any problems arriving to work early or leaving late, I would not. I have reliable transportation.
What is your native language?
And again, hit the hint button.
Unlawful. The interviewer may use your answer to discriminate against you if you do not answer with the right language. You may want to answer the fear behind the question without directly answering the specific question.
I am fluent in English and Spanish.
Where were you born?
Unlawful. The interviewer may use this answer to discriminate against you if you were born outside of this country or even from a different part of this country.
I appreciate your interest, but would prefer that we focus the discussion on my job qualifications.
And again, those are really awkward situations that you can be put in, but as you can see, there's a professional way to bounce back from it, redirect the employer back to the main focus, which is being hired. Now, I understand that a lot of you would say, well, I'd be nervous to do that. Well, you have a right to protect your information and to not be discriminated against. So going into an interview knowing what's all lawful and unlawful will allow you to also wage whether or not this is the right company for your personality type, for your lifestyle, and whether or not it's a good match for you as well. So possible unlawful questions, off-the-wall questions, stressful questions, this is a great resource. And I think if you follow in the format that I showed you, you come on, you click on the autoplay off button, press the first question, and then press the hint. It teaches, it's an excellent teaching tool as you move forward. So I highly recommend that you go through this series when we do mock interviewing skills with each client. And after you've done a resume, try to push mock interviewing just to get them prepped for it. A lot of the feedback that I've gotten from this is that people were surprised that they didn't realize that there were unlawful or unethical questions. But everyone across the board always mentions about salary. So let's go into the salary section. And it's one of the reasons why they put it separately. And I'll have to do the same thing with the autoplay, but the first video always plays the first when you click on.
How does our salary range compare with your most recent job?
So again, salary questions are tricky, and this is specifically something I want you to go and encourage each client that you work with to do with you. And again, since autoplay is off, you're in control of the flow of the video. Just press the hint.
This question probably will not be asked until the interviewer suggests a going salary rate for the position. Be honest, but do not forget that benefits count when totaling your salary package.
And then you get to hear her response.
Based on what we've discussed so far, I would say that it's in the range of my current salary, as long as the benefits your company offers are similar to the ones I have now. Could you explain the benefits package to me in a bit more detail?
Again, great response. And we'll move on to the next one.
What are you making in your current position?
Tricky question.
Remember that your income consists of not only your salary, but also your benefits package. Figure out how much your insurance, company car, vacation, and so on are worth, and add them to your salary.
My base pay is $25,000, though with commissions and my benefits package, my total annual income is closer to $40,000. What kind of salary would you need to join us?
And this is a question that I've been asked almost every single job.
Research the career field, the specific company, and the company's geographical location. You can find general statistics on salary in the Statistical Abstract of the United States. Rather than stating a specific dollar amount, figure out a range that would be reasonable.
Now, this is an area that we're also trained in as career counselors at the TU website. So looking up that information, you bring them into the salary section, then you start getting their mind thinking about, wow, how do I respond to that? Excellent lead in to the next session that they can have with you on the ONET and the Occupation Handbook. Go into that field, look for the specific money calculators for that specific area and how much salary is earned. The demands, you'll realize whether or not it's a high potential or a low potential job earning salary position, and you'll have all that information walking in the door. So print that information out for your client, walk them through the ONET after you do the mock interview with them, and they'll be way more prepared than they were before they walked in the door. It's all about what you extend. It's taking the extra step as a career counselor to be invested, be connected with your client, and to really care about their outcomes. And part of that is not just following through with one program and letting them walk out the door. Try to help them with every single resource that you can possibly use that you've been trained. And that's what makes a good career counselor. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to invest yourself in the time with your client. So we're going to move on from salary, but again, great questions, great training. Go ahead and go through this. Go through all the videos so you're familiar with it. But again, someone wants to do mock interview session with you, bring them through the interview section and the salary section first with the examples, then practice with them and do Zoom video conferencing and practice with them until they get comfortable in answering those questions. If they're awkward or you see certain body language, let them know that they're that they're putting themselves in a situation where they're responding, but their body language is sharing something different. There's so many things that we can do to help our client and extend our services to help them. And I'm just encouraging you to do that. So our next step that we're going to pop on is video. And this is a generic.
You are now beginning on one of the most rewarding yet frustrating searches of your life.
This is Winway Resume Deluxe video series. This will walk you through, and basically when they're ready for their interview, just after you're done these mock interview sessions, go to the video section and you can go through that with them.
You are now beginning on one of the most rewarding yet frustrating searches of your life, the job search. The best time to look for a job is when you already have a job. If you are desperate for work, you may make some quick decisions that you could regret later. If you choose to apply directly to a company, it will take you about 1 month's preparation before you'll be ready.
And again, a lot of really good advice in here for job searching, and that really connects with everything else that we're doing. But we're going to move on to the resources. So the resources tab will pull up a ton of resources, not only in Canada, but the United States. At the top, you can see from the tabs, we have all federal forms that you need to fill out. Request for eligible, request for federal, applying for a federal job, applying for federal employment, Veteran Administration, U.S. Office of Personal Management, self-identification reported handicapped, request for referral to personal action, all these wonderful access points. We also have an access point for LinkedIn for different jobs and companies. Again, it links to Twitter. And there's also a salary calculator that you can utilize as well, or cost of living calculator for your area, for Alabama, for example. And let's say you're moving to, let's make it all across the state here. Washington, Vancouver. The job title, you're going to be a social worker. Okay, so here's the difference. Cost of living, expenses, utilities. This compares the cost of living in Vancouver, Washington by budget area to Alabama. Salary range for a social worker in Vancouver, Washington. As you can see, you make $30,000 here. As you can see on the low end, they make 38. On the medium end, they make 47. And on the high end, they make 57. So you can also print this, email this, or you can embed this information as well. The cost of living in Vancouver also shows major cities, comparing other major cities that you might want to consider. It's just an excellent resource to use a salary calculator, especially when you're working with clients that are thinking about moving out of state. And this also is a good parallel, because in this parallel, you can match it to the ONET. Because in the ONET, you can do the same thing. You can show the different jobs in the different areas and what the wages are. But this is a good salary comparison chart that you can use in conjunction with that as well. So again, let's go back to the career links. We already clicked on federal forms. Career links here, all the different job hunting links you can link to. Let's say you're finished your resume, you're done your mock interview training, or you just have someone walk in and say, look, I need some jobs. I need to find something. I need an idea of where to put my resume online. Well, you've done your Winway resume. That can actually be uploaded on many of these sites via the program. So, Occupation Outlook Handbook, you can tap into that here as well. But we utilize that on our main site, but job.com, career one-stops throughout the U.S. Let's click on that. We have career assessments. And we have career assessments already built into our training program, but you can access these as well. I think what we have on our TU website and that we utilize at the TU Career Center are pretty top-notch for free programs, and I would encourage you to use those. But if you find one that you find is better or equivalent, let me know, and I'll be glad to research it. And if it is, we'll add it to the website. government, federal hire, federal jobs, USA jobs. And you'll notice that in the occupational or the ONET, you'll see green jobs that'll have the yellow, that'll have the green leaf on them when you're searching green jobs. Again, if they're interested in green level jobs, you'll want to go in here and take them in here to show them these opportunities for where those jobs are available. There are different job banks that you can access, and these are updated online because we're connected to the internet, and they're updated every day. So we use Indeed.com a lot in the Career Center. And boom, this links you directly to Indeed.com. And then you can put in, let's say you social worker, because we're working on that, social worker case manager, find jobs, boom. Already, support worker. Well, there's a Thomasville, North Carolina too, so I forgot about that. But as you can see, there's different jobs that are available in that area. And the Baptist Children's Home in Thomasville, North Carolina, and you can help them instantly. So our job search engines are also accessible through the Winway Resume program. So please remember that. Hireability, getthejob.com, Job Bank USA, again, instantly connects you on the internet to all these amazing resources. So I can't Simply Hired, another tool that we utilize. What I like about Simply Hired and Indeed.com is that they give you ranges. Like going back to Indeed.com. Let's expand that. We'll put Georgia this time. And what I love about it is that distance, it gives you the distance. You can change the distance to like 50 miles from your house. And you can see the different jobs that are available. So let's say you have an issue with transportation, or your client has an issue with transportation, you instantly know where you can access. So social work jobs right now, human service counselor, access representative, rehabilitation liaison, all these things are available right now for you to tap in instantly with your clients. So utilize Winway Resume for job assistance tools as well. Now let's go back to where we were. We'll exit out this. Okay. Yeah, don't exit out. Okay. So again, one of the things I want to show you about simplyhired.com, which is another really good website that we use locally here at Thomasville, is, let's say in Thomasville we want to put a social worker. What it pulls up, and I love this about this site, is jobs in the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, and again, it gives you the distance option. So I actually prefer simplyhired.com when I go for jobs, but sometimes they're a little bit different than Indeed.com. But let's say you're looking for a job and you don't want something that's been on the web for like forever, and you don't want to apply to a job that everybody else has and you don't have any chance. So you want to put in the last 24 hours social work jobs. So we have Coiler companies, all right, in the last 7 days, for example. So now we have community service representative in Thomasville, Georgia at the Homestead Senior Care, and a licensed professional in Pelham, Georgia. You know those jobs have been posted recently because at the bottom it says 2 days ago and 5 days ago. So you know that you're applying with your new resume immediately for that job. And these are the skills that I want you to learn. I want you to instantly access the resources and show the client that you are invested in them. This is the key to, again, being a successful career counselor. So let's go back. And we'll exit back out of that one. Other resources, different resources on LinkedIn, why not? Resume distribution centers, Fax My Resume, Resume Dispatcher, Resume Viper, great places to upload resumes for your client. Resume posting sites, same thing. You can upload to monsters.com, NetTemps, Dice, Career Magazine, all right through this program. Salary surveys, again, something really fun to utilize. We showed up here at the salary calculator, but there's other sites. Salary Experts, salary.com, payscale.com. It lets you know what your job occupation should be paying you in different states and different areas. So when you go in for that interview, you have an idea if you're being offered a fair wage. Specific careers, engineering careers, financial careers, hotel job careers, law, medicine. One that's not in here that I recommend for people that are interested in childcare and they're wanting to make a career out of that with their family as a couple. It's houseparentnetwork.org. It's an amazing organization which it covers jobs from all over the United States, and couples can work with children in group home settings all across the United States. And it's an amazing opportunity for people that are committed to doing that profession and helping children. I did it for many years. I highly recommend it as an excellent service opportunity to help with children and to help your community. And again, it's not listed, but it's a great resource. Now, some of our students are from the United Kingdom and overseas. There are different jobs, different websites that you can even help them find jobs after graduation in the UK. So I know we have a student currently right now that we could help him if he wanted to go back home. We could help him during the summer, possibly find employment. So, and there's also great work from home options here. There's warnings from the US and warnings from Wikipedia as well. I have a list on my personal computer of jobs that are work-at-home jobs that are legit, and we'll be uploading those shortly to the TU website so students can get some at-home work positions as well. So those are great resources. I encourage you to utilize this section. I feel like it's a really great section. Now, jobs. What you want to put in this section is, of course, Georgia, and you put in what you're interested in. Let's say we've been sticking with social work, so let's put social work. It instantly connects to the internet. It taps into at least 3 or 4 different job search engines and does the work for you. It instantly pulls from those resources, and it'll continue on for quite a while. You can stop it at any given time, but I would recommend you let it go through its complete cycle. But it'll pull those resources within, I believe, the last week, and I'm going to stop it just for training purposes. But here we have Indeed.com. And these won't have specific locations, but it'll let you know the different jobs that are available with job descriptions. Sometimes it has pay. It'll always tell you how to apply for these positions. And sometimes you can even apply online. If you go down further, it'll give the locations for these different jobs. And keep in mind, all these jobs are currently available, and people are saying there's no jobs out there. There are tons of jobs out there. You just have to know how to access them and resource them. And you have to be willing to move to those jobs if they're not in your service area. NetTemps will show things as well. Indeed.com. And again, if I left it on long enough, it would also show state jobs as well for the state merit system. But you have to let it run its complete cycle. But as close to us here in Thomasville, we have a job right here. Coordinator, Golden Living Centers, Thomasville, Indeed.com. Pulled from Indeed.com. Golden Living Centers, responsible for the development, organization, and coordination of living center and community resources. And so, you can instantly connect with the different jobs. Valdosta's not so far away. Enrollment officer, part-time addiction counselor, medical social worker, path homeless clinician. All these things are all amazing things that can help your client. Utilize these resources. Learn this program because it can open up doors instantly to your clients that can change their life dramatically overnight. So commit yourself when you're working with your client to help them as much as possible. And occasionally, if you have a client and you've been assigned a client, and let's say you finish the resume, don't just leave them with a resume. Keep a copy and always remember them and go through and try to help them when in your downtime. Instead of sitting at the Career Center, you could be online helping your clients find what they need. Our purpose is to help other people, and I want you to remember that most of all. And at the very end, we have the job app, which we have copies of this down at the Career Center, and we have it online as well. And what the job application worksheet is, it's an amazing resource because what it does, it preps you for any kind of application you're going to have to fill out. How many times have you been exposed to filling out an application online or sending in a resume, and then you arrive to the interview, you only have to fill out a bunch of information on a piece of paper, and you don't have your supervisor's name, their information, their phone number. Well, in this case, you will. Each client should be given one of these along with the release of information sheet, and this should be encouraged to be filled out with each client. It's important because everyone should know this information and have it on file either in their car, and women, you can carry it in your purse, and men, their wallet. Just have access to it so that you're never caught not having your information. Not having your information could be the difference between getting that job that was just the deadline was today at 5 o'clock, and you have that information on you, boom, 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 you get it in and you get that job. If you don't have the information on you at hand, you might miss that golden opportunity, and that could change your path. So this has been the training for the Winway Resume Deluxe program. I hope it's been useful, and I hope that you will take the time to really get to know each of the resources and the different areas. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be more than glad to help you. And again, thank you for your commitment to helping people at the Career Center and helping people find jobs and changing lives. Appreciate it, guys.